challenge we are facing today is as a result of an accumulative issues that we have ignored in the past, that all accumulated to this dangerous point we find ourselves.
Okay.
And if nothing is done now, it might get worse in the next 20 years than we have now. God forbid. So security is a major challenge. What we can do right now is to call all asunder and make it our issue and not just government issue. So that where government is failing, people themselves should not fail.
Okay.
In other words, we have our traditional rulers, we have our communities, we have our leaders at various levels, even in the Chibok. We have youths, we have people. It has gotten to a point where we have to look inwards on how we can help ourselves while still looking up to government for support. Because if government has the final solution to this, they will have solved it. Well, the security right now has proven stubborn beyond reasonable doubt. And if government has a solution to stop it right now, they would have done that. So what we need to do is to completely decentralize the security network such that we'll just assume, for instance, if you come to your community and you know that there's no police or army to help you, the youth can also gather together to see how they can help themselves and then ask the police to support them in helping themselves. Self-help does not amount to carrying guns right now. It's not what it is. But you see, every security is local. Everything that happens within a community. That's the point I'm making. It happens within an area. The people from that area should be our first point of contact to start solving that security problem while government comes and listen to the people on ground to guide them and help them on how to solve that particular problem. But you see, we do our master plans here from Abuja and we go without the local information and we tracking the wrong places, and it's not really producing any results.
So you can
State police, what is called a systematic guided state police, we have. Systematic guided police means state police that deals only with criminal, armed robbery, kidnapping, and all these terrorist activities. But not going to political issues or civil issues because they will witch hunt.
Okay, yes.
So it will be a guided one that has specific role. If all the state police does is to treat the issue of insecurity, that's it, all. But not to go into other places because some of these leaders or governors or some people may use the power for that. Well, it's not that it's losing it, but the challenges are overwhelming. The situation is overwhelming. Remember that what we have today as insecurity was what we ignored 20 years ago when children were not going to school and we didn't care. 20 years ago, there was 2.53 million children out of school and we did nothing then. And they keep increasing in geometrical progression. Now those out of school children has resulted to what we're having today. 30 years ago, we ignored agriculture and we allowed this to come to a point where we cannot feed ourselves. 25 years ago, even 10 years ago, we had oil boom. We didn't make use of those resources to help ourselves prepare for tomorrow. Now, this is our context. So whether again, you will say that it is a cumulative problem that has come at a point and still growing. My worry is not even the Nigeria of today will see. It's still better than today.
Okay.
But the Nigeria of tomorrow, if nothing is done today to fix it. No, you have no breakdown. All this will happen naturally. All this will happen naturally for it to get better. I don't see total breakdown of law and order, but it will create enough awareness. And it will determine the Nigeria of tomorrow, the future of Nigeria. This is a test that we're all going through now. Who can unite this country? A man who has the vision to fix the economy in a rocket speed should be allowed to. The sentiment of an Igbo, if you must be an Igbo man, you wouldn't just be any Igbo man. Okay. It must be that Igbo man who has what it takes. It's what I want to judge, but we must choose leaders based on their track record. You see, there's something that God has given to mankind. You are who you are, and you cannot change who you are. Well, keep making the same mistake that people will change because they now occupy an office. No. What is your track record? How have you been able to manage your home even to start with? How have you been able to succeed in life? How have you been able to manage relationship with people? How have you been able to manage resources in your hands? How have you been able to relate with your community? If you have failed in all these criteria, what makes you think that you now come and build a nation? Definitely. It's all about vision. It's all about vision. It's all about what you have inside of you, how to fix the nation. Ask me any question on what I can do about any sector of the economy of Nigeria. I'll tell you what I want. And I wouldn't go outside to look for who would tell me how to do it or how. Now, there's nothing wrong with the economy of Nigeria. But there's something wrong with the management of the economy of Nigeria. There's nothing wrong with Nigeria as a nation. The wealth of this nation is still intact. Nothing has disappeared. The gift of God is all together, both human and material resources. They are all together. Nothing has left us. But it's the management of the human and material resources that led us to where we are now. So it's management of the resources of this land. So take for this, I have an economic policy that is called KMR. What? KMR. Kobom must return. Now, let me tell you what the simple KMR means. Kobom must return means all participatory economy. Okay. Where ordinary person can participate in the economy of a nation. But right now, what we have is few people up there practicing an economy, doing an economy that others are spectators. Okay. It's just like, that's why I don't like football. Okay. And let me give you an example. No, you know why? Why? I enjoy it again, but I don't like it. It's a selfish game where only 22 people play and about 100,000 people watching them. At the end of it all, the people get made and others go home. All participatory economy. Okay. Agriculture speaks the language of God. Yeah. Oil speaks the language of the dollar. That's why the exchange rate is doing what it is. And nothing can bring down exchange rate in Nigeria unless we make agriculture the main pivot, the main budgetary pivot upon which other economies are. So this is it. That's the same place. It's called KMR, Kobom must return. And then this is my economic policy. When you go details into it, you see that it goes into security, it goes into power, it goes into everything. It's KMR. There's nothing in this except the fact that the governor does not want to obey the court judgment. Okay. There's a court judgment, court of appeal judgment. Now there's a Supreme Court judgment authenticating the re-elected chairman of the party that was there before the governor came and dissolved them. Okay. Now we've gotten a Supreme Court judgment, but the governor doesn't want to hand over the materials for registration. He's now using his own people, enforcing the same I must hit hard and frighten you and giant that can destroy it, that can do and that kind of power thing. I think he's either trying to exercise some bit of power abuse. I say that and I don't know whether he's test for blood or test for power. I don't know what he really wants, because why would it be happy if people are being killed? Why do you want to create tension where people can fight and destroy themselves? Like what happened in Imo State? If I had not asked the people to please remain calm, by now I'm sure lives would have been lost in Imo State. But people will react, my supporters will come against and fight, and more people will be killed. It took me a lot to convince people not to do that. And secondly, that day that his talk came to was shooting and shot my son-in-law and shot and shot my orderly. If my security man has drafted, today the story will be different.
Yeah, so
I'm still trying to advise the governor to take it easy. It's like what they say, calm down.
Yeah, calm down.
Governor, because this tenure will come to an end. Because APCA was a small regional party. I wanted to play in the big political space and to take my people, the Igbos, to big political space, where they can also be relevant in what's happening in Nigeria. I don't want us to be. Already the Igbos have suffered a lot of
marginalization?
No, not marginalization, but a lot of bad talks, which does not reflect the practical reality. Nigerians do not understand the Igbos. But the problem is that Igbos can be too mouthy, they talk, but beside them, these are wonderful, nice people that have been misrepresented in this country. So when you're suffering the image of that being an Igbo man, which they became an issue because of the way they are painted, then you ought to also go and put yourself in a small party again. Then the people know that if you are tribalistic, you are sectional. Igbos are not.
So
that's why you find them everywhere, all over Nigeria. They're not sectional people. They're not tribalistic people. So I don't like tribal party in a nation that is called.
Like to be nationalistic.
It's better to be nationalistic because Nigeria is ours. But what happens with together? All of them have become local also now. Because those who are PDP, all of them have come back to join the same APC and struggling for it. This is why sometimes it's so funny, it's laughable. That even the APC leadership will be watching. Those who started the battle and got injured as a result are now pushed aside. And people who came with congratulatory messages now took over the state and became owners of the state. So it is rather very, very unfortunate. And I blame the APC leadership for all this. And that is what has killing the party. And that is what is putting the party to extinction. Until it comes back to basics. I remember how it all started. This is it. Like in Imo, like all these leaders now who are now in APC. I defeated all of them when they were all in PDP. I defeated them in Africa. I defeated them when I was APC. So what is the magic and they now perform to become the preferred choice? And they watched in Imo where number 4 became number 1. So we're talking about corruption and injustice. I mean, it's neither here nor there. Well, you know what we lack here in this country, and I want to blame the journalists, is that we don't have investigative journalism. You are here in Abuja. How many hours flight, how many hours by road to get to Warren? To see for yourself what Rochas or culture has done. Now, when you said, what promise have I made and what I did was substandard, let me ask you, is the International Cargo Airport substandard? And why did the Vice President judge it and find judge it one of the best in the country? Is the High Court built by Rochas substandard? Is the police headquarters built by Rochas substandard? Is the prison built by Rochas substandard? Are the 27 general hospitals substandard? Is the Sumter Hospital that he put down, was it substandard? What was the government house was substandard? What was it that was really not up to it? You know, all the roads I opened up. Who opened up over there? Who made over today a capital? I made over a capital. My administration made a capital. Was free education substandard?
So why do people always...
So it is just, that's why I said, I blame you, the journalists. And very soon I'll stop granting interviews.
Wow.
Because if you don't go for investigative journalism, if it's in America, this kind of thing will not happen. I have over thousands of projects. Can I be honest to you? And I've challenged this. I've said it severally, 1 million times. I challenge everybody to see whether any government, past or present, have measured what I've done in Imo State in 8 years. And put all together everything they've done, minus Mbakwe. Whether all put together will match. And if they compare and they match, I reserve for politics for the rest of my life. I mean, I don't know, Owo is not far. I turned the whole roads in the world to 8 lanes. Who changed the whole road? There's no project any governor can do today in the state capital other than maintaining my projects I've done. And when you say, why do you have the zero potholes program? Lagos does zero pothole, Akwa Ibom does, all states. Because for every road done, from time to time you have to maintain the roads. That's what we call zero pothole. What Imo State governor is doing now is zero pothole, for which he has given 55 billion naira contract to make zero pothole along our road. He's not scraping the road completely and doing a new road. He's only patching the ones that have been done, and it is allowed. What causes that? What causes when you have potholes? I give you an example. Not acidic rain only. When the drainage are not managed, when people fill up drainage with rubbish, the water escapes from nowhere and attacks the road. When a road is made for 40 tons and a trailer carrying 35 tons goes on it, it's bound to have a pothole. But you should respect the vision of Rochas Okrocha in that state. It's not yet beaten, and I don't think it can be beaten soon. But I pray it should be beaten. Well, I tell you, Madam Mayor was my political son for more than 23 years. Wow. I picked him up from the US, and he was here. He started as a personal assistant in my office. I could remember his salary then was about 18,000.
18,000?
Yeah. When he started with me. So he was like my boy, he's like my son. So I know him better than anyone knows him.
So you feel he cannot be governor?
It will take a miracle of God. He's not electable. Because let me tell you.
Is he a criminal?
He's not. Excuse me. You see, attitude matters a lot. Human relation matters a lot. And I know all my children. I would have preferred that Madam became goes for governor. Because I made him chief of staff. He didn't run for election, I made him deputy governor. If I take him that far, I want him to be. Yeah. But you see, if I take him to the field, we'll lose the election, even before we start. No, because as a deputy governor, he's being elected, they don't see him. But big government, they will elect him himself. And I know they will not elect him. In fact, if you want to try what I've just said, Madam should go for local government election. If Madam wins local government election, then I'll let him run for president. Wow. Uche is not my choice. Uche was never my choice. I tried to see to manipulate it for other. I had 5 of them. I was just trying to show my support.
Who was the other one?
It was Madam Jude Jogu, Chike, Chike Okafo, Uche Mosu. Uche was a clear winner. Now, when they went back, with the influence of Abuja and those who are working against me, they made the INEC to postpone the counting of results. Yeah. And they say results were coming more from the 3MBC. Okay. Now, 3MBC came with 133,000 votes. How can 3MBC result be more than the whole 24 local governments? That's why even Emeka never made the total. Emeka had only 12 local governments out of 27. So he needed 18 local governments, but he was still declared winner. The instruction to declare the winner came from here, Abuja. He didn't win, Uche won. And that's why today the injustice that is in that land is what is causing the whole problem. Because Uche having won with such a huge against Emeka, but this and the hope came the far distant fourth. So there was no way he could have jumped, and Arume came third. Uche came first, Emeka came second, Arume came third, Hope came fourth. So there's no way they would have jumped Emeka and jumped Arume and give it to Hope. That's why they have no choice but to say, okay, Emeka should go instead of Uche. Because they felt Uche being there as the governor will give Rochas added advantage for whatever he wants to do. But they went and lied to the presidency that my son-in-law was running, my wife was running, my son was running, my sister was running. So 5 of us was running for election from one family. And they bought that cheap lies.
In the villa.
And lies. And then I said, what the Constitution said that an in-law cannot contest election? And yet you have people whose in-laws are holding positions. So what was wrong for a young man who is young and want to serve the state? And he's the most experienced. Among all my students I was teaching, he was the most humble. The one that would have continued from where I stopped. He would have been close to being the best today in the country. If we try to continue. You know, Hope Uzodimma was in PDP.
Yes.
APC. Hope Uzodimma was in PDP when I was out. In these two elections, we were not working together politically. We have not been in the same political camp. We have never been in the political camp. Yes. Because you see, Hope has a history and a style. We know him, just like he knows.
Did he consult you before he joined you?
We know him. He didn't consult me. In fact, he wasn't really a member of APC in the world. It was Shimo that did all the conspiracy here and gave it to him. Hope never contested. And that is why, so the disagreement I'm talking about, we didn't have quite disagreement because it wasn't part of my political something. I just woke up one day, 2 weeks to primary, that somebody came and said he has joined the APC and he's going to run for election. And they gave him good luck. Good luck came and carried the papers and ran away with the papers and all that. This sounds very childish, you know. So this is exactly what has happened. So Hope was never a candidate of APC. Hope was, in fact, in the last election, Hope lost even in the Senate. He was using his usual way, the way to get. Hope has never won an election. Let me put this way: Hope has never won an election in life. The root cause of my quarrel, I can imagine. Two things, because I don't know. The first time when he won election, when he was declared winner, I went. Because we say we're the same party.
Yeah, because all of you were together.
I said, let bygone be bygone. After all, Apostle Paul was a criminal and wrote the best scriptures of the New Testament. Let us work together. Hope, let's work together. I went to him and I said to Hope Uzodimma, congratulations, you're now a governor. I'd like to work with you. I'd like to support you. Look at what you should do. Number one, as a governor, you naturally want to lead the party. But please, don't throw away all the old structures. If you want to bring your people, at least divide it 50-50. Put the chairman and put some people, give them a sense of belonging. I'm not going to run for governor. I don't even intend to run for Senate again. So you have a state to yourself. And I will not bother you. I'm not requesting for any appointment. Nothing. I gave him that advice. But I said to him also, you see, I know you have people who have sent you from Abuja to fight me and all those things. Can we now leave them? We're brothers. If the only way you can satisfy them is for you to see that they are fighting me, you can even act it out. God be what I told him all this. I said you can act it out. But let's have our people of humor. They're in their need of leadership. Let's have them. They're in their need of good governance. Let's have them. I said number 2. But number 3, don't use PDP witch hunting panel to witch hunt me. If you want to set a panel, you are now APC. Set an APC panel. Because a PDP chairman, state chairman of a party, heading a panel, can never give me a good judgment.
Yes.
You get lawyers, get people who are neutral to investigate whatever you want to investigate.
But not the PDP panel.
He promised me. He did nothing. The following day, he didn't pick my calls. I said, what's wrong with this man? He made an appointment, nobody was carried along. That guy, he now said he will recover all stolen properties of him. I was so shocked. Again, the governors called us. Governors of APC called us. At Plateau Lot. Hope was there and I was there. The only thing when I realized that it was envy was when he said that my house in Imo State was bigger than the state government. So what has that to do with it? This house of government I bought it 20 years ago from Speedbank, a construction company. It was a quote from that, and I turned that into a stick. So what is your problem? But all said and done, the governors interfered. All of the governors were there. And before us, Hope Uzodimma told them that, listen, that he's only doing a panel set up panel to pacify some of his political supporters who felt they should take Rocha's neck as political witch hunt. That he's not going to make use of that report. He'll just put it under the drawer. He told us this. I said, I don't trust this man. I told her,
and now he's doing
I don't trust this man. Why he said, no, he can't say before us. No. Why is he alive? And what did he do? He went, cook up what they call white paper report. The report was never published for anybody to read. Procedures was never published. White paper was never published. He said he had a ESCO meeting, so the ESCO met and gave the white paper power to go and seal up the foundation property managed by my wife. And when he got to the foundation property, the commissioner got there, he said, why do you shoot? And why should you leave the property you have gone to see? That was the story of all this. So there's no. My only problem with Hope Uzodinma, he lies a lot. Hope Uzodinma lies a lot. If he does not, if he can move the lies, whenever he says good morning, it's good. I can't even believe it's good morning and good afternoon. What's the power of white paper? White paper does not give you the authority as a judiciary. It's only court of law that has the power to seal up a property. And I went there not because it was serious. They was being looted. Everything that you see, nobody wants to hear our story. Everything that our hotel has been looted, shattered, everything, mattresses looted. If you seal up the property, you should seal it up. What Rob wanted to do is that he believed that the masses of Nigeria, masses of Imo State, like to see that if somebody is a big man, let's go attack his property. That's what he wanted to see. But nobody, he's not succeeding that with the people of Imo State because they know me. We went for it now. We went for self-help and went and lock up the place. And if you watch the funny video, when the commissioner was locking up the place, he was inside the hotel and locked up the place. Where did you go out from? Having seen the people, where did you go out from? So that is our concern about this thing. But I only went there. I haven't called the commissioner of police. Listen, I called the commissioner of police. Before going there? I called the SSS. Before going there, I said, did you send anybody there? They said they sent nobody. So who would have been there? Then he took government house security to go and do that. And some of them were fake police. Who put man? You know, they put man. Those who were shooting were putting, what do you call it? Hoods over their face. So they came here for a very bad mission. I never killed anybody. As a governor, I didn't lock up anybody. As a governor, I never invited the military or Air Force to come and shoot them. I have never. In fact, I was the most abused governor, Okorausa, and all that. Have you ever had me take somebody to the cell? But Hope Uzodinma locked up a widow for 12 months with the police. And you know one thing that he brags about? He says he has the court of Nigeria in his pocket. He has the police in his pocket. He has the army in his pocket. He has the military. That's what he said, everybody. So ask yourself, I had the same power. I was the governor. How many people did I ever arrest? In fact, I was in a situation where a keke man hit my car.
As governor?
As governor. And I came down and I helped him move out his keke. I was a governor when a Mercedes car caused me to have an accident. And when I came back, I bought a car for the man. So when you're a governor, you should take nonsense. And every time must be a nonsense taker, or you can't lead the people. All of us are Catholic. I don't know why, but his Catholic was different from my Catholic. We went to Catholic church one day. I think that's the last one I met him angry. What makes Hope? You're asking me last time, he didn't finish. What I think makes Hope angry, or whatever it is. Okay. He can't stand my popularity. Like we went to a Catholic church when they were burying one bishop,
Ochaga, yes.
They called his name and the people were murmuring. Thousands, over 5, they were murmuring. When they called my name, the church went loose. I think it doesn't like it like that. But you can't suppress the fact. You can't. Until they correct the things in Imo State. Let me tell you. Until Uche, who won that election, takes back his seat, there will be God's intervention in the whole land. Because that's not the truth. The truth is the young man won. Why did you deny him? He's in power. That's what we're suffering in Imo State. Now Neither Emeka no Hope won this election. Uche won the election. Understand this fact.
Yes, Excellency.
And we were not coming together to. I wasn't even working with Hope at that time to remove Emeka. Emeka was the one who was insulting my family, putting down all the projects I've done, just like Hope is doing now, putting down all the projects I've done. He has put down the Soto Hospital, put down all the roundabouts. I just don't understand what's happening. It's madness in Imo State. It's madness, sheer madness. There's Supreme Court case. Somebody went. One Umadi went to Supreme Court, which has not gone.
Okay. But
with the happiness now, I think Uche should go to. I think Uche should go to court. This is all for peace to win.
Okay.
So is he going like a leader? Is Hope going like a leader? This is all the stories they cook up. They cook up that my family, my wife, my son, myself, my in-law were all running for election.
Yeah, in Texas.
That's what they cook. The story they cook up
to
the presidency. Now, secondly, they cook up the story that I, Rochas Okorocha, went with God. And I have my security as a governor. Then I will go with God and hold the INEC authority officer that they should write my result. And in that place, the collection center is not collection center. Where I have army, SSS, INEC officials, no one saw it.
It was rubbish.
It was just very funny. And you know they succeeded by holding my result. After the whole leadership has established, everything the thing has been done. They say, come and take your paper. And join us. You know, they just want to rubbish Rota, but you cannot rubbish anybody that God has not rubbished. But who like God? No, that's not God. Who is calling? Who is calling? By who? This is the Hope program.
In your statement yesterday, you said they were paid 1 billion naira. How did you arrive at that?
It's money I play now. If you offer the group of people to go and be making that noise, that they will go and remove Rochas or culture, then of course, what else is doing? Because it will cost him 20 billion or 50 billion to even sell the idea first. It will cost him 5 billion to sell the idea to people of him or no. And if he thinks that he has that popularity or no, I challenge Hope of him, and let's two of us walk on the street of Odo or anywhere in Imo State. Two of us side by side. As he's walking, I'm walking. All security be aside. What's next for me?
Yes.
What do you think fits me? Have you been a governor for 8 years? Have you been a senator? What is this I can do?
I'm a journalist. I'm not supposed to judge.
No, it's not just because you can put one or two together.
Presidency because.
And have you run for presidency for 3 times? Have you forgotten that?
I want you to give us the answer.
I want you to answer. So tomorrow is time I'm declared before you. If I'm going to make a declaration, it has to be before, it will be a world press conference. I will not be a personal interview with son. When I will let the world know what I intend to do. But let me tell you something. Governance is not this presidency. I'm running to make a new nation. I'm not running for president.
But
I'm running because of. I'm running to make a new nation.
Your Excellency, some people.
Wait. I'm running to see that the poor people, the new Nigeria where poor people can smile, the Nigeria where there will be no more hunger, where there will be no more killings, where peace will reign, where education will be free, where health is affordable, where corporate must return, where all will participate in the economy of Nigeria. This is what I want, what I might run for, or I will run for. But not to run for presidency. If you run for presidency and there's no vision in it, they're not running for anything. They're just a nice